You're watching Gigachad Total Nerdy channel, and you're welcome back to some building. We haven't done a building thing in a little while, so here we are. This is my Doom CRAM, if you remember, and after learning some stuff about CRAMs with a lot of helpful YouTube comments together with private tutorials with Iron Fist, I've learned this CRAM is absolute trash. It's complete trash. It should be deleted from existence. It's not worth the money. It's just sad. Okay? Now we got that. It's sad. So, we want to make it not sad, right? So we need to make this a better turret. And to make this a better turret, we need to make it more cost efficient. And to make it more cost efficient, we need to... we need to kind of remove everything and the internals. We need to remove all the internals and replace them with some proper CRAM Tetris. Because I have learned, finally, 3D CRAM Tetris. Took a long time, but now I've done it. Amazing. Gigachad, you learned something. Is it really true? Maybe not. Maybe. But I hope to pretend it's true. So, yeah. We shall indeed dismantle the internal parts of this thing and just remake this CRAM turret with proper Tetris. And this is, like, to be quite honest with you, this is a T-17 turret. It's supposed to fit in one of these like 17 diameter things here. And this turret can be made bigger, of course, but the kind of prefabs on how this turret can be like big it's this big. So this is kind of the size we have to deal with. So I'm kind of thinking a little bit that I will not try and make it any bigger. No. I think I will try and keep it this kind of size, because the T-17 format is safe and nice for me, I feel like. So we will just dismantle like that part. I think what I actually will do is, now it has 1 meter of metal, almost 2, and then heavy armor inside. And since the new setup will be less dense, I'm kind of feeling that we should go with a little bit less armor. Since this turret is just so big, we should suffice with having like 1 layer of heavy armor and then just having, like the rest of the armor on the turret. Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So what I will begin to do is to just strip this little armor compartment so that we can make an armor that is 1 layer thick, but we're actually going to add it when we have completed the turret, since we can kind of expose this little nice working area by removing the sides like this. Very handy, very smart. Gigachad wins IQ competition today. Maybe not. So, see you soon! Alright, so I got a little tip here. If you are retrofitting some turrets or stuff like that, it can be hard to get an overview of what's inside. And what you can do is press the End key on your keyboard. And here you can see left, right, cutter. Select cut above or below. And if you build symmetrically, if you build asymmetrically, you can't really use this, but if the front slash back or side slash forward or up slash down is symmetrical, you can just have this thing. And then you can have a cut through like this, which means if you have the mirror activated, even though you don't see the blocks getting removed to the right, to the left I mean, they are, because I removed them on the right, so it's really handy. If you want to be able to see what's inside stuff, press the End key and look inside. It's just so handy. Then we can even use like prefabs and stuff like that. and the middle is per default. You can kind of see a half block there, so if you have a middle block it will be cut in half. Looks a little bit weird, but not a big deal, to be honest. I think it's pretty cool. Anyways, just wanted to show you that. I'm going to continue to remove the CRAM parts so we can have a clean slate to fill in this turret in. Alright, the turret has successfully been stripped and painted white. So, here we have the kind of skeleton of this huge CRAM cannon turret. This is just insane. So the goal with this little thing is to make it cost efficient. I'm thinking to make it a little flatter, so like this part only showing. But I think it would destroy the kind of symmetry. We want it to be this big and like fat turret. So, obviously we learned some about making CRAM cannons, and one of them is that more barrels is better. It's more efficient. I can explain it to you a little bit later. But right now we have this empty space inside of here, and we need to figure out a way to kind of fill it in. And this space in top of here, in top of the turret, this area, I think I will leave it just an open air gap, to be honest, just to detonate shells away from important bits. With the detection, of course. We can even make a little nice mess hall. We can move around and have some stuff here. Could be pretty cool. And since we are adding lots of cannons here, I need to think about a barrel pattern. I'm thinking like 3 stacked turrets, or this like mesh of 8 turrets, kind of like this. Looks a little bit weird. And if you're wondering why I use the medium steam tanks, the steam boilers, is because this is about how big the 200 millimeter, the 200 gauge barrels will be. So, I'm thinking to either have a 4 barrel pattern probably, because I think that this 8 barrel pattern would look a little bit too weird, or have a 6 barrel pattern, because that would look pretty cool too. Possibly 3 stacked, but to begin with, we're going to make some CRAM Tetris. And I've filled in the area inside of here and just copied it so we know how much area we have to deal with. So this is the usable area. And to make a 3D CRAM Tetris, there are some different ways. One way is to add alternating layers, layer A, layer B, and slap them onto each other and make a tower out of them, and those kind of connect in a pretty optimal way. And that's kind of not 3D Tetris, that's more like alternating 2D Tetris with 3D connections. But for all intents and purposes, I kind of feel like that's basically 3D Tetris. We can do a more advanced Tetris where we kind of have several layers. Like for example, my Magic CRAM Tetris 3x3. It's like this many layers, but if you would break it down, it would also be 2D Tetris with layer A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, yeah. So I kind of feel that AB Tetris with layers like that is 3D CRAM Tetris as well. But whatever, doesn't matter. That CRAM Tetris what I made with my 3x3 rod, I'm kind of happy with that. It's really smart, I thought, like I didn't expect that I would come up with a pattern that's kind of that efficient, but in some weird way I kind of did, and that layer pattern is really cool, I think. Just because it has like so many twists and turns to it. But it only needs to be that complex because we're limited inside a 3x3 space. And when we are at a larger space like this, we don't need to be as limited. Then it's much more easy and efficient to make a layer ABAB turret. So, to begin, we're going to go to the CRAM cannon, and what we're basically gonna do is spawn one of these and kind of find out its patterns. So here we see, bam, bam, bam. We can either do a start that's like this, where we have the pellets in the middle, and we have connections here, and then we have connectors here, there, and there. Or we could do a central rod in the middle, where we have... Oh, I just realized. No, wait. These should... Okay, never mind. I just thought a little bit that maybe we should have them that way, so that the next layer have a pellet there. But... that's something we'll add in the next layer, to be honest. We add it there, and then on the next layers we're gonna have a connector that goes like that. And that will of course be beneath it as well, so we kind of get more connections, yeah? Right, so I'm just going to place these connectors here. And when I have done that for a little bit, I will probably have a decent understanding of which of these patterns we will start with. Makes a lot of sense. Now that's a connection, okay. Then that can be connected. So we'll just spawn it like that. Connection there. We have a connection there. Then we can connect them like that. Alright. And we would have to connect it from the layer above then. So we only have like 2 connections here, and above and below, of course. Seems like this is probably superior. Let's see, if we do like this, we have connections there, we have connections here. So you kind of see the pattern here. Pellet, connector, pellet. Maybe this is better, to be honest. It can connect from above and below as well. This is pretty neat. This one is a little bit weird like that. Oh, that's not even a connection. That's a connection, okay. How are these? These are just very similar. I'm starting to think that maybe this one is better. In any case, no matter how we do, we want to be able to divide them up kind of easily to different barrels. So we'll see how many barrels we'll end up with. But yeah, I'm going to continue experimenting a little bit, and I'll be back when I have something interesting. Alright, so I have designed these little patterns here. This pattern has like 21 connectors, which is dividable by 3, so we could make a 3-barrel setup with this, like more easily. And then we need to bunch together each one of these to like 7 of these in one and make it ish balanced and blah 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 blah. That sounds kind of difficult. This one is much more neat, and it uses less like end bits like this. I feel this is much more satisfying, easy to look at, easy to understand, easy to work with. This is obviously like more superior, and it has 16 connections, which is dividable by 4, so I think we'll have a kind of 4-barrel setup, possibly. That is kind of where I ended up. So I think we're gonna go with this. Yeah. So we are going to go with this. As you can see, very nice. Right, so we might be wondering what's up with this several barrel setup. Why can't I use 1 barrel like all the normal people? Well, this is a efficient big boy turret. and it's gonna be good, yeah. And thing is, when we fire this thing, you saw that? It said preparing packers for 6 seconds. Which means the faster the reload time is, the more time is spent on, the more percentage of the time is spent on cooling down before we can start packing again. So if I fire this again here, you can see, poof, it doesn't packing, it's preparing for packing. And it's like 6 seconds because it's lower, the lower gauge you have. But basically, 6 seconds out of, what's this reload speed, 25 seconds, is kind of a lot. So a big chunk of the percentage is actually spent cooling down. And the thing is, the more barrels we have, the less effect the cooldown will have on the system. So if we, for example, have 10 barrels on this thing, and each of them take 10 times as long time to reload, of course, but we can space them out a little bit, but we will shoot a volley with a few seconds delay on every shot, and the cooldown time between them will be less because the reload time will be 10 times as much. So if we have 10 barrels, just thinking, the cooldown time of 6 seconds is like nothing because each barrel like reloads 250 seconds. It's like a lot. And then 6 seconds is a lot because the barrel cooldown is dependent on the gauge, not the reload time. So that is the reason why we want to have several barrels. If we have several barrels, we can get more shots per minute. We can get a higher shot per minute rate because the cooldown isn't dependent on like one turret. The cooldown is dependent on several turrets, and since more barrels on the same system would mean longer reload times, this is like a good thing. So that's why slow crams are kind of better than fast crams in general. And if you want to have more shots than just like relying all the bets on one shot that might bounce on a shield, it is better to have several barrels because then you can shoot a volley and one of those shells ought to hit, and then the shots stacked on top to each other, they still do individual damage, and they will bore through and deal a lot of damage. So yeah, I don't know if I explained that good enough, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna do an instant tutorial on this thing as well, so not to worry. And as you might see, we are willing to spend a lot of materials on connectors and packers, and that's because the connector costs 5 and the packer costs 25, and these beautiful things cost 180, except this one is a little bit cheaper. Then we have payload compactors, cost only 25, that has been updated. So the payload compactors we will put in areas where it's less important, where we don't get like all the connections, yeah? So that's basically that. So the second layer will need to connect up and down because this layer will be above and below like this one, right? Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. So now we will need to try and puzzle together some kind of connection thing here, and here you can see, bam bam, that connects to there. Which means we can have these things with a 6-way connector here and there. And these connect to them, up and down, very nice. These are edge pieces, so they won't get all the connections. They will get 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that will be fine for a payload compactor since it's like much cheaper. Yeah, so that's basically like that, and this should be connected, and if you wonder if it's connected, you can just hook up that and you can see, yep, it is connected. Beautiful. So we're going to try and do like this pattern on some different pieces, and to make things easier for myself, I'm going to start painting my internal stuff here. It's not hard now, but it will get more complicated, and then this is just such a good, like, physical aid. Or visual aid, I mean, not physical aid. What is a physical aid in building in from the depth anyways? Probably nothing. Anyways. That didn't matter, but I want to be consistent, so yeah. Connecting up like that. Okay, beautiful. Here we can have connectors as well. Here we can have connectors. We can have a packer there and a packer there. So I'm thinking kind of that this is one group. This is another group. Like this is one group. And this is one group. That's kind of how I'm thinking when we're going to try and connect this thing up. So we can have like a plus thing going on there since we can't connect to... yeah. Whoops. We need to basically cover... So basically what we do is we cover these packers like that. And we just make a little crisscross pattern here. Bam, bam, bam. And this rod will make it connect from below like that, so that's good. Bam, bam, bam. And of course this layer will be much less dense, but I kind of feel it's important that our 4 barrels connect in a nice way, just so that we can kind of get some kind of redundancy from this. And within this pattern, it would be great if we were able to hide, or not hide, but implement some gauge increasers as well and make them equal across the systems. Then we'll really want to have that shad turret we want. That's a good title. Right, so here we go. And this is a little bit tricky. Like this is of course a connection part. We need to connect this thing. It doesn't connect to anything right now, so it has to connect from above. With this one too, this one too, this one too. And as you can see, this isn't a tutorial again, but you see the sticking out parts connect to pellets and the suction cup parts connect to connectors. So that's kind of the thing we have to keep in mind there. And the edge connectors, they're a little bit less dense. So we can probably exchange these with compactors, yeah. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's 5. It's decent. This is a 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. No, what am I doing? That's a pellet. Okay, that's 5. 4, 4, 5, 4, I suppose. Something like that, maybe. So there is this little thing. If we spawn a turret here, we can go inside of it and we can reconfigure layout and do stuff like that. But we don't really want to use this setup, because if we kind of do, yeah, this setup is it's tricking. It's a little tricky. It's a little tricky to use that kind of setup, because when we kind of change the loadout on turrets, we will replace the compactors and stuff like that. So actually what we probably can do is have the different shots be different things, and then we can just set everything to 1, and then afterwards we go and put in payload compactors on the side. That's probably easier, since we will have several barrels. Maybe that works, I don't know. And that we forgot a little green block there. Beautiful. So here we have the kind of complete pattern thing. And now we just need to divide these sections, yeah? So just for visual aid, I'm going to spawn these connectors here. on top of the holes, so we kind of know this is one section, this is one section, and this is one section, and these blocks has to be connected somehow. Otherwise, we need some kind of connection layer, which we could add. We could add some kind of connection layer at the top or bottom of this thing, but that would kind of give us less redundancy. Like right now, if we would connect these slabs, our cannon could be quite damaged, but still like do full damage. So that's kind of handy. That can be removed, okay. This can't be removed. Right. And since this is kind of... we actually need to do like a fourth of this thing, and we can just copy it over to the other sides when we are happy. Right. So we only need to do an eighth of this actually. And this one connects... Is that? Okay, that's correct. Up and down. Right. And this side thing, we need to connect it from these two blocks there. Yeah, so you know what? I think I'm gonna figure out this a little bit, and when I got something good, I'll come back to you again. This looks like an absolute mess, I must confess, but I think I know what I'm doing, so bear with me a little bit here. We just need to delete some layers here, and you might say, what are you doing, Jimodism? Isn't... Actually, what are you doing, Jimodism? I'm honestly, I kind of wonder myself, what am I doing? I think I am able to stitch something together here. So with this little quarter here, we have some built-in gauge increasers. We got some payload compactors. They're more cheap now, so I will suffice it if it has only... Honestly, if it only has 3 connections, that's like good enough. And that connects to that thing, and that's kind of cool and stuff like that. Very nice. So, I think this layer should be able to be kind of mirrored over, or like pasted over. Because this thing is designed to like not clip in there and not clip in there. So, and this one is connecting here and not there, right? I think that's kind of good now. Okay. So, let us remove these blocks here. And since it's symmetrical and nice, I should be able to make a copy of this thing and just paste it 4 times, and hopefully it will be perfect. Oh god. So, up to proof, Jimodism. Did you manage to build something today? Okay. One more. Okay. I want it to be slick like that, so I don't get more confused than necessary. And it's like, I just wanna check, does this clip into anything? It doesn't, right? It shouldn't. Alright. And this layer doesn't connect, yeah? Like, so each like subdivision doesn't connect, which is an issue. Right, so we got 2 for each. We could have another one here. We could also have another connector for redundancy. And even though I think it would be good to have like cross connections to connect these 4 parts kind of all over the place, so that each these 4 blocks are connected with each this connection block. But it would really take away from the density of this thing. If we did that, we need to connect like this island to this island to this island to this island to this island and stuff like that. So I don't think we'll do that, right? But one thing we will do is painting this original layer here, so we know that this one is one connection, if that makes any sense. And then we're just gonna pop, pop, pop. And hopefully, if we connect these like 4 parts, we should be able, or this like section rather, not like this 4 parts, but this section. I think we should be able to see something interesting going on here. Question is, how much does a gauge increaser cost? They cost 12, it's like not much. So we can probably indeed have the added redundancy of having a gauge increaser in each of these spaces here. They add a little bit of health too, so that's nice. And they shouldn't connect, and why you wonder why I use these, it's because they only connect to 2 sides. The other ones connects to all the sides. So that's why it's smart to use these smaller ones or these corners, because then you can like make them only connect to this part of the turret. So this is like connected to these kind of. Anyways, let us steal one of these connections. Yes, yes, yes. And we just go and make a little. And yeah, and here we can see that one is connected to that one. Oh, we can have even more space for gauge increasers, to be honest. Since we oh, no, that's not okay. I was wondering if this was like a, if we could connect, but we can't connect anything more here. It's not possible. Right, so if this connects like up and okay, it doesn't matter, right? Because we won't stack the same layer. All right, cool. And that should be it. And then we kind of have an empty piece in the middle here. I'm kind of thinking, since these blocks they lead EMP, right? All of these blocks transmit EMP with a very little reduction. So I'm actually thinking we're gonna have a surge protector in the middle here, so that EMP damage coming through this huge turret will get a little bit, will get destroyed for each part that goes down there. So there is less likely for super heavy EMPs to like actually do some proper damage. Okay, so now we just connect that up there, and we need to make it a stuff like there and like there, and that should be, that's not necessary, it should be good. Right. And then we can put a little gun on top of here. And just go back a little bit. And you can see the diameter is not too much. And that's because we're going to have a stack of them, right? Beautiful. Some motor barrels on there. 2 pellets connected. That's nice. That's gonna be 1. It's gonna be only 2. No. It's connected to 3. It's connected to 3. It's connected to 4. It's gonna be 5 with a top layer and stuff like that. And ooh, I think I managed to do this Tetris pretty good, actually. Ah, yeah, I think this is pretty good. So with only one layer like this, of course it's gonna be a slow turret, but let's just check the loadout. We have a third compactor and hardeners, and we can customize that a little bit later, but I kind of want that the default one is kind of hardeners, just because hardeners, we can do some really cool thump shells, and whatever shell we want to have, we always want to have hardeners on there, because if we don't, we will why can't it aim? Oh, because it's the wrong direction, and the barrels too. That all right, there we go. No? We don't need all the barrel. It will be full speed anyways. That's the funny thing, you don't need barrels for crams. They'll only help you aim a little bit. We'll still go 300 meters per second with 1 meter of barrel, because that makes sense. You know, actually cram shells, they don't make sense at all. Did you know that despite the speed of your cram shell, you can drag this down to like 20 meters per second, or like 0 meters per second, and they will still have full armor piercing or thump damage. It will be full damage. They will go through as many blocks as they would have. So dragging down the speed does nothing against damage. You don't have to have fast cram shells to deal good damage. It really doesn't make sense, but that's how it works if you didn't know that. Because, like, honestly, cram cannons and APS, it's like completely different games. Like, from the depth, yeah, it's different games, basically. It's different, completely different games. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. So, anyways, I think we might wanna do a... do we wanna do a top layer as well? Like top layer of connections? Probably. I don't know. I don't know, actually. Maybe we don't need that. If we click P here, we can see the bottom layer. Yeah, because we want that to be... Actually, I think we can probably make the top/bottom layer like manual. Just manually put them in there, because, like, whatever. We can do it for each of the turrets we'll do. We're gonna save these templates, of course, but this is what we're gonna, like, sandwich in there. But honestly, I am gonna design a top layer/bottom layer for this particular build, just to paste them in there into the turret, and we'll see if we save that too. And with this, the main goal is to connect all the areas, and we want this layer to be the next top layer, because we want it to be as, like, efficient as possible, yeah. And I think that we are going to... I think we're just gonna have, like, connections going on there, actually. We might do, like, some extra to the compactors, but let's see about that. And connect these islands there, so it's, like, properly connected like this. And here we have an outer shell piece here. So I suppose we can have gauge increasers here. And this is like dead space, so to say. I'm thinking we're gonna have metal at this, like, dead space. Or, like, it's not like dead space, it sounds dramatic. It's just that this space will be, I think there we have it. Then it should make, like, a pattern and stuff like that. Cool. And we can have a little block in the middle like that. And for some efficiency, I know they kind of cost the same. Like adding one more of those packers or adding a payload compactor is kind of the same here for all intents and purposes, but whatever. We're gonna throw down one here, one there, and one there, and hopefully we're a little bit more efficient. Great. Right, so now this pattern should be able to be copied around. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Prefab mode. A little bigger. Capture. Like that. Like that. And then we kind of got the free-like connection bed. So we can connect each one of these should be a separate turret, right? And to test that, we're gonna plop one down there. Connected. 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 And these should have 62 pellets, 62 pellets, 62 pellets. Good job, Jimodism. I think you learned something. Amazing. That's really cool. Jimodism learned something today. Don't be so surprised. But to be honest, I think that this layer is probably where we're going to have a fusing box. And we're gonna have a blue fusing box. And of course each of them needs one. And I think that the fusing box will be both at the bottom and the top layer, because that makes kind of sense to have some redundancy going on there. And here we could have, no, don't be tempted, we wanted to connect properly. And then we have the laser targets as well, but god damn it, the laser targets are just so unreliable. It feels like a lot of times when I use them, shells explode in my face, and there should be absolutely no reason why they do that, and I set them up correctly and stuff like that, and I don't know what I miss. Like I'm seriously clueless. I don't know. I'm just set them properly. I set them explode after 120 seconds, okay? And then I connect up laser targeter, so the fuse is like time from launch and then laser targeter, and it just explodes in my face, and I'm like, why? Why? What did I do? Stop hurting me. So I don't know. But this seems to be working, and I'm actually going to save this now. And of course we don't need, oh, it's not connected, never mind. I'm gonna save these 3 layers. It's gonna be A, B, and C. And this is your standard prefab mode. We're gonna copy this entire thing, and yeah, it's not interesting. One thing that is interesting, however, is this the shape? Is this the shape of a T-15 turret? It is not. Is it then the shape of a T-13 turret? It's a miss. No, it's not. Okay. It's basically the shape of a T-17 turret with stuff around it. But the T-15 pattern would fit around it, yeah. With even some minor armor. That's kind of interesting. I just wanted to check. But yeah. This is how am I gonna word this? T-17 CRAM, whatever, no one cares. I'll be back when I figure this out and save these templates to the prefab menu. Beautiful. See you soon. Like, I'm not kidding. You see these names here, like this like boring short code name T17 UA CRAM Tetris LA is, you know, the size of the turret 17 size, unarmored CRAM Tetris layer A. And I just love making these like coding names. I don't know, I just love classifying things in this manner. So anyways, yeah, if you wanted to know, probably didn't, but now you do. Welcome. Wow, Timodism made a good job. You know what sauerkraut is? It's very tasty. This is krautrock, if you wanted to know. It's some pretty good music, but it was made in the DDR, the Deutsche Demokratische Republik, which means that no one is able to claim the copyrights anymore because, you know, the DDR doesn't exist. Anyways, now we should copy over all these layers here. But I realized we have to fix a fatal flaw in this turret here. And that is the local weapon controller. This is absolutely despicable, to say the least. It's absolutely unacceptable. And I'm just going to check here what layer this is at. It's like this block. Okay, that's cool. We can live without it. Nice. Anyways, this thing is absolutely horrible because this will get killed by EMP. To make this thing not get killed by EMP, we need to protect it from, well, we need to protect it from the sides and upwards. Fortunately, the blocks, the EMP seems to not like hit the ground and then go under the turret and creep up in the components there, because it's like on a different object, so I think it like counts as free space. It has to go through the turret block, as I understand it. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, but this is what I get. So if it goes there and goes there, it's enough that we protect the EMP from this side, not under, but sides and over. And in my tests, I've actually seen that it seems to be okay to protect like this side, this side, this side, and this side, and it seems to have like full protection. So we're going to back these blocks up with some heavy armor in hopes that it won't burst. Whoops. And then we're also gonna go into this weapon controller, see which... Okay, check in front of it, radius, margin, it's probably enough with like, it's like 3 meters. It's actually, we're gonna dive. This is a huge turret, I don't think it will, okay, 4 is probably good. Right. Receiver, controller, and inside here, we can set some brackets if we don't want it to fire at long ranges or whatever, but we don't care about that. Engage vehicles above infinite blocks, yes. Engage vehicles below detection error. So you see it sets 200, drag down to 10, the minimum value. And if you do this, your first volley of shots will not always miss. They will usually miss, but this time they might actually hit. So that's kind of handy. And if you have a detection error of more than 10 meters, you shouldn't be using CRAMs anyways. Like, what are your chances? So I think that's a good setting. I hope. So here we go, beautiful. It's oh no. You know what? I just failed a little bit here. I just pasted it there, okay. It has to be closer to the turret, right? This is, yeah, okay. So yeah, that was a little miss. Beautiful. Great job, Jim Lesen. That could have been really expensive. Big miss. Unfortunately, I'm somewhat observant. And we use heavy armor all around in the bottom here because otherwise the explosives will creep around and blow us up and everyone will die and will be sad, basically. That's how it works. Okay, beautiful. It seems to be working. It's set up like that and a block on top there. And then we can go to prefab mode and just load C. which I think should be decent like this. It seems to be connected up, yeah. Was it like the right layer? It was. Cool. And then we're going to have... So, this is what we do. Now we have that layer there. And now we want to have the B layer to connect to the blocks underneath it. Kind of makes sense. God, I'll be very sad if this won't work. And then we'll have the A layer. And then we're gonna have the... You can see here. Here's the A layer. B layer beneath it, yeah. A layer above it. Then we're gonna have the B layer, A 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 layer. Very funny geometrism, stop it. So here we go. A layer all the way to the top. Then we can add the... No. We can add the B layer. And it should be connecting nice. And it should be very symmetrical, so we don't have to think very much. B layer, B layer, B layer, B layer. And of course, when we set up the fuses, we need to set them up both at the top construct and the lower construct. Because here we go to select the C layer, which is conveniently named after connection layer. Wow. I actually thought about that when I named them. So, I've liked to use A, B, and C recently. Now we are going to connect up a firing piece to each of these areas, and we are going to hope that they all say the same thing, because otherwise we'll be very sad indeed. A reload time of 21 seconds. We got a real... This is a heavy ordinary shot. It will be hard to kill this thing, but this with some thumper damage, it will do some serious damage, I can tell you that. And we can't use the sliders to like set it or change it, because if we do that, the payload compactors where we want them might not be where we wanted them anymore, and then our turret will be so much less cost efficient. And oh no. Why? This is not connected. Oh, and that is because of... Oh yeah, okay. We didn't do a major fail, which is good. We're just going to... Okay, we'll have to do It kind of looked like... Oh, it's because the backside is fine. Alright. Ha! So that was what... That's what it was. Okay. We'll just remove some more blocks here so we can make sure to fit it. Oh, symmetry plane. The most useful forgotten feature sometimes. Prefab mode, load. Now we're gonna have layer B. Hope it works now, because if it doesn't, we did some serious failure. Bam. And there we're gonna load the C layer. Now we're like one stack lower though. But whatever. I think we're gonna... I don't know, whatever. We'll blop it up a little bit. That. And if we add like that, I'm just excited to see if it actually connects. No way. It doesn't connect. Okay. It seems like I need to do some research. So the C layer connects here. And these one, oh no, they're just stranded. Would have to use the connection layer. Like more, oh no, okay. I wonder how undense we would be if we would stack A, B, and C in this pattern. It would be A, B, C, B, A, B, C, B. Well, it will be less expensive, that's for sure. Like, I'm just checking here. Oh yeah, these are completely stranded. I can't make the layer like that, it won't work. Right. So you know what? I think maybe if we design the connection layer to be a little bit more efficient and compatible with the B layer, we can probably sandwich this thing in between all of the layers, and we'll have that added redundancy to it that we wanted, and it will be a little bit less dense, but I think it will be pretty okay anyways. But we don't need a fusing box for each of these layers, that's for sure. Let's kind of check around a little bit more here. These ones. So if we would connect this one, we would have to remove like a packer, and that would significantly, that would damage this too much. It would make it too little efficient. Now that won't be acceptable. I'll need to modify the C layer a little bit, right? I'll be back very soon. Okay, so I ended up with modifying the B layer instead, because if we would have modified and sandwiched in the C layer all over the place, it would just not work. So I connected up these two via these two blocks, so I'd only needed to add 2 more blocks for each side and remove 1 packer and 1 payload compactor. So yeah, okay, we dropped a little bit in density, but this was necessary because otherwise it won't work. It's still the better of possible evils, so I'm still happy. But yeah, that's happened. Geodism has succeeded to make this thing, and here we can see, I think at least, if we connect it up, beautiful. It has 840 pellets. If we connect up another one, it also has 840 and then 840. And you can see all of these blocks are connected up. We can even click P and none of them are unconnected. Beautiful. Good job. So we succeeded. Congratulations. Very good. We have successfully put together these layers in a way that works. So using this 3D Tetris, this is connection layer of course, we have some layer with connections and packers and a few little bit gauge increasers, and then we have the dense layer and a connection layer and dense, connect, dense, beautiful. And doing this makes us much more efficient in terms of materials. So that's very nice and all. So now we should cover up the sides with some armor here. So we're gonna go with heavy armor, of course, and oh no, I think we'll do like that. This is my favorite song from this band. I think it's very nice, very nice. Dun, 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 dun. I don't understand, but it's nice. Beautiful, like that. And we'll just fill it up, and let's just double check it's actually full there. Yeah, okay. Because we want to make sure it's like filled. Like this layer is not supposed to take like direct hits or anything like that. It really isn't. It's supposed to just protect the turret from damage leaking from explosions, because like even though the game should be like fairly judging where the explosions go, it always doesn't do that, unfortunately. So that's why we have to kind of do like this a little bit. Oh no. And I don't have a good answer for why we don't use symmetry plane right now, because that would be really handy. We can do it for this side. So I kind of dream about like building asymmetrically, I mean, not symmetrically. But the thing is that building symmetrically is just so much easier. Because we can we don't need to do anything twice. And that's probably the charm about asymmetric builds. That we really don't expect what they got to offer. Oh, yeah, of course. Right, going like that. Beautiful. And then we go this one. Pop, 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 pop. That. And I think like that. No. I think like that, probably. Very nice. Now it kind of connects. Yeah, so I think the immediate surroundings we can probably fill up with some metal blocks. Should be absolutely fine. Cool. Now we kind of set it up like that. And I think this is an interesting setup for turrets. But to be honest, I kind of feel I don't know, it will look a little bit funny, but I kind of want the turrets like this. Because it's more unusual. It feels a little bit cooler. So I think we're gonna do that. Yeah. This will have me think a little bit. I'll have to think a little bit for setting this up. Ooh, by the way, we do have this little... Maybe we should have more layers on this thing. We should possibly have the connection layer here, but have some stacks on top of this thing. You know what? I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a connection layer, and then we're gonna have more blocks on top of it. So honestly, I'm just gonna play around a little bit, and I'll be back, because otherwise this would be a 3-hour video, and I don't know if you like that. I wouldn't. But see you soon. So stuff has happened here. What has happened here? Well, we've connected up these cannons. So this cannon, we can just turn off that, has a connection point below, behind, side, and they go to different arms from the side here. This one goes from left and right, from the back connection, with wide connection bands, to this cannon here. So it also has connections to the back and sides. And then we have a little straight connection just from behind there, and it's smaller in area because it's less likely it will get hit. So that kind of makes sense. So I've put them like this, and I think it's time we should add some barrels to these. We're gonna add 2 barrels for each of them before we add some moving blocks, just to have some kind of base armor there, so we'll always kind of have a barrel. We'll need a good couple of movement barrels there. Probably don't need that many. If we have them inside of there, it's cool. Alright, and we're gonna have... I think we're gonna go with elevation barrels in between here. Did that hit correctly? 45 degrees. We'll probably want another one, yeah? Elevation barrel, pivot barrel, okay. 55 degrees. 65 degrees. I think that's good enough. How fast are we now? 11 per second. I think we'll add... Actually, we can add further out. Then, sticking out from like this portion, we're gonna have some heavy barrels. And some of those to look cool. And then some more. And then some of these. And then some of those. Trying to design something that looks kind of decent. Alright. And now we can have one of these suppressor barrels to make it less likely that the shells get detected. Let's see if we add another one. Ah, that's too slow. And then we can add some of these on top of that. And that should be a pretty interesting barrel. Are these too short? Maybe we want it to like be proper, like this. Okay, now they're kind of proper. Very nice. So now stuff is kind of set up. These 4 balls should work pretty well. But I'm thinking like this. If we go into the firing piece here, we can see won't touch. Oh, we can have an idle elevation too. It can be kind of cool. Is that good? Maybe like that. Like not that high. I think like 10 degrees was probably pretty good. Maybe 7 degrees. Then it's like notable, but a little bit more. I think we'll have this. We're gonna prefer low. Let's see here. Stats. We can see some stats now. The material per firepower is different. They all have different stats because they can't decide which one is connected up to the pellets. Like who's the owner, and the owner gets less efficient. Alright. A little bit more accurate before fire, thank you. So, we're going to Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V. Okay. There we got it. Nice. And with that, I believe... Oh man. They look weird. Like the entrance, like the... Damn! It doesn't look like barrels anymore. What happened? The game is updated and it kind of looks... No! It doesn't look like an out... No! Stop it! This is like not a black hole there. It's like... Okay, we can't... I can't deal with that. I can't solve it either. Oh, damn it. That's weird. I think it was some bug in the... I play alpha, by the way, so it's like... That's how it is. Yeah. You know, I'm gonna go into the tedious bit of armoring this thing up. So, we're going to have a layer of era and a layer of heavy armor. At least. So the era is very important, like inner defense. If we get hit, we can like destroy the heat shell or stuff like that. It won't neutralize the entire turret. So it's important to have one layer of era throughout this entire thing, and then we're gonna have some heavy armor as well. I think I'm gonna replace some of these inner parts here with heavy armor as well. And yeah, I'm going to get into that, and then we'll be back. Alright, so we have indeed filled up some armor here. We have quite a lot of bit of armor in here. We're actually just going to do one of these. So here we have an interesting, intricate and advanced like connection pattern inside of there. So if we'll just do like this, you can see the blocks growing like this, bum, ba, ba, bum. And we have connection tubes connecting all the stuff up. And yeah, that's kind of how it works. So if we fly inside of here, you can see we have tubes, we have lots of empty space. And I thought to maybe fill this up with CRAM cannons as well. But then I kind of thought that it could be an interesting idea to just leave this space open. So I took some inspiration from the BBS 5th season with its like room on top of the turrets. So this one has a room on top of the turret. And well, I've set up these 4 barrels here, and they are also synced to well, everyone except that one. What did I look at that one? Come on. Sync here. So all of them are synced with a like 2-second delay. So I just want to spread them out a little bit. It's probably better to actually fire them all at once, but it's I kind of like to just get them like that. So they have a reload time of 18 seconds. They could be a little bit slower, to be honest, but the finicky parts of what pellets we should have in this thing and to what ratio is something we can fill with a little bit later. Right now I feel like I've built a little bit too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a hollow point turret, because right now we got some good hollow point capabilities, since we are only using kinetics. What are they called? Hardeners, right? They're still called hardener pellets, right? So we of course are gonna set up the hollow points on these below in case some of them above get destroyed. We want to have the connection still running there. And there we go. Hollow point like that. And we are gonna save this sub-object. There we go, sub-object. And here we have stern look crab cannon. So say what we're building on, and we can call this, since we did a good 3D Tetris here. This is the name. It's gonna be much cheaper. It comes in at 300,000 materials, while the other one came out at 700,000 materials. So it's much cheaper, even though it's big. We spend a lot of materials on the armor for this thing, that's for sure. Anyways, let us get into God mood, and let's just, for good old fun, we should launch a Marauder and just watch it. Be happy. Are you kidding me? Are we missing the shots? And it's thumping away. Thump, thump, thump. Now, it will reload in like 18 seconds like that. I kind of feel that thump isn't the funniest thing. Okay, now it died. So let's see what it would do to some kind of meteor target. And since we don't have it on a... come on. Oh. Since we don't have this thing on a turret well or something like that, we can't really test its survivability right now. But it has an era layer, as you saw inside of it. It has a good era layer in there, so it's pretty sturdy. It should take some serious beating. Like this time, I actually more opt for armoring this thing up than I did making it super powerful. So that's kind of thing. It also kind of aims pretty fast. So it should really be able to do some proper damage. And of course, armor piercing, like pen depth with frag is probably the answer to go for this type of big turret. But yeah, that's what I think. Blom, bomb. You can see it just tears away chunks. And I think that yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm happy we put this 3D Tetris together, and I will honestly agree with anyone that says that this turret isn't the most, like this turret is too big. For the cost of this turret, we spent too much on the armor. We should probably add some more weapon systems inside of this turret. I think that this CRAM cannon we built is pretty solid, actually. So it's not like we need to change that. But I do think that we could have a mortar system in the like turret area well thing, or we could have other stuff like vertical launch missiles or even APS systems, something, because this turret armament, it's kind of expensive. It's yeah, like if we actually look at it, how far gone is that? It's close to the spawn. But it's like, if we actually look at this thing, where is it now? This costs like 60,000. So, and this costs 58, and this costs 30. So they kind of calculate it weirdly. So 60, 50. Okay. Put on, how is it? I don't know. It's like, is it? Wait a minute. Yeah, so basically around 200,000. This turret's CRAM systems cost around 200,000. And if we go into the sub-object mode, we can see that the entire turret costs like 300,000, so it's like more than 100,000 on armor for this system. So yeah, it's a little bit too cheap. I just wanted this turret to be a usable, viable like design, because if we just go in here and just take like super heavy EMP charge, lay it down there, you can see I've even EMP secured this detection here. So this detection and that one as well. Like these detection blocks, they can't be harmed. And inside of here we have the here we have local weapon controller. It's like unharmed, and this is like a pretty heavy EMP charge. So it's pretty cool. It's like EMP safe. And then we go, of course, explosion. We set it to something meaty, like 100,000 damage. 16. Wait. Oh, never mind. EMP charge. Try again. There we go. I thought that the surges should go, right? These are safe, however. They are insulated because the top, which could have transmitted to this and this, but not that, we have rubber on underneath there. And of course, the radars, they can be taken out by this EMP. Yeah. You can see it goes down there and drops AI blocks, but not the local weapon controller in this turret. It is super safe. But now the AI died. Peril. Alright. So then we got the explosion, right? It's a pretty hefty explosion. We'll do like that. It blew up some stuff. Yep. This one blows up that area. Bam, badam, badam. We can like blow it up pretty heavily. And we'll just get into some like empty space like that. And of course, if we hit the barrels, they'll be very, very, very sad, because then they'll be disconnected from the firing pieces. But you can see that firing piece inside of here, it's still fine. It didn't get killed. So yeah, it can take some serious beating, and even though one of the firing pieces is down, the other ones are alive. And just to compare, this is like a layer of heavy armor. You can see if this explosion hits a wall of heavy armor, it will do some serious damage. So that's kind of the good armoring with stuff like that. So let us turn on the god mode and just spawn the stronghold like that, just to watch it a little bit in action. I want to see those shells incoming there. You can see, ooh, meaty piece. It tears pretty meaty chunks. I don't know, maybe it's a good ratio between firepower and armor. Do tell me. But I'm very happy I got this I got this 3D Tetris actually working, and well, I would like to. I hope that Iron Fist. I hope you are proud of my super great turret. I hope you are, you know, because all of those what should we like tutorial sessions, because it was like your turrets are not good enough. They are sad. Please make good turrets. And we looked at it, and I learned the proper ways of 3D Tetris, you know? And here we are, with a pretty decent turret. So anyways, for everyone who watched this little video, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll definitely catch you next time. This is your host, Jimodism, and we are signing out. So stay tuned. See you next time. Yeah. And with that, we will salute. Bye bye. Bye bye.